Good morning, everyone. Let me get that back in the right spot. Oh, look at that crooked line behind me. Which way does that need to go? That way. All right, that's a bit better. All right, good morning. Welcome to the last week of the month, the last practice of the month. It is a short practice this morning, so generally a short practice is around about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. When you're doing this on the replay, you don't need to go through all of this, you know. Yes, watch it, because when I go through the cards and I talk about our theme for the month, for today, then it's a good way of integrating some philosophy into your practice. And then that being said, if you're practicing this you've already listened and you just want the actual practice to follow, then, you know, that might only take 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So, and then once you get used to or familiar with the practice and the idea of the practice and how to put it together, then, you know, you can do it on your own. That's the goal. And it might, you know, it might only take 5 minutes. So that's the idea of, you know, these shorter practices, is to show you and give you an idea of, or show you that, you know, you don't have to do a long practice for it to be a worthy practice and for it to be beneficial. I forgot to put my comment in to get everything going. What a rainy day it is. Okay, there we are. All right, so short practice. We're going to do a practice today. Good morning, Dawn. Morning, Sal. Absolutely. Yes, mine had a drink yesterday when I got home. The practice we're doing today is a practice that you wouldn't generally think of as a somatic practice, or a practice that is gentle, soft, okay? And when it's practiced, we usually practice it as a part of, or within a part of, a bigger practice. Okay, g'day, Shell. But I want to show you today that you can do some standing poses, standing practices in a more gentle way. And if you've been practicing with me for a while, you will have done this with me before. Yes, you will need a chair. And I'm talking about our variation of the sun salutation A that we've been doing in class. So yes, use a chair, okay? And we're going to really break it down and do it in a way that we can really check in with what's happening within us. Good morning, Karen. So that being said, let me get the card happening. Okay, where we go on this one? This is the letting go theme in this deck of cards, which, you know, that is Vairagya, letting go. That's what we've been we've been learning and working on. So the practice, just to remind you, the practice itself, Abhyasa is practice, so steady practice, continual practice. I don't mean in one session, but over your lifetime and potentially lifetimes, if that's what you believe, which is what we believe. So continual steady practice, but without any attachment to what you think it should look like, is vairagya, or any desire for it to be any particular way. So that's what we're doing today when we're going to do the chair variation of the sun salute A, which is, you know, your salute, your fold, and the dog, and then coming back. So when we do that, we can do that as it's a really nice practice to do as a daily practice, to add to maybe your check-in and your pranayama, your meditation, just to get the prana flowing and prepare the body with this really gentle, in a gentle way, with this sun salutation. And vairagya is letting go of what we think, or how we think a sun salutation should be performed. Okay, so that's my intention for you today, or for your intention could be to let go of what we think a sun salutation should look like, should feel like, should be like, you know, like, I don't know, 5 repetitions of a strong sun salute, or a sun salute B or C even. So can you today just be curious and find that beautiful balance between Abhyasa and vairagya? So consistent practice, sustained practice, and letting go, and dispassion, all of the things that come under the banner of vairagya. Good morning, Pam. Welcome back to winter. It wasn't too flash in Perth, I can tell you. All right, so let's go. The card is clear. May you see things as they are. Okay, may you see things as they are. So, you know, if we're going to put this card to this practice, you know, can we see this beautiful sun salutation as it really is, in our body, in our mind, in our nervous system, okay? Rather than what we think a sun salutation should be, which is mostly done quite quickly in a faster flow, with other poses, with, you know, chaturanga, like push-ups, with lunges, warrior 1, with chair pose, so quite challenging poses, which is fine. But today, that's not what we're doing. So can you pare it back? All right, so sit in your chair. We need a chair. If you've just tuned in, we need a chair for this practice. Maybe you close your eyes as you listen to this week's card, if that feels comfortable for you, and just see what lands for you. Clear. May you see things as they are. The reflection. Turbulence muddies the sea. Displaced The swirling silt conceals the full ecosystem in which you live. Clear seas re-illuminate all that has been hidden, revealing the truth about where you are now and making space for what lies ahead. So that is, when we do a practice, I'm going to say somatically, really looking and feeling and noticing how the soma feels. That is, a clear water, if you like, clear seas, because we're slowing it down. If we've got turbulent seas and we're practicing really quickly, it's very difficult to notice what's happening in the soma. So the blessings: may you embrace transparency. May you perceive the wider context. May your clarity open bright horizons. May you be luminous and limitless. And the mantra for today: from here to the horizon, my perception clears. I love that. It's actually, it's quite nice. It's very fitting for something that's going through my head at the moment. Okay, so with that, let's do our little check-in. And yes, you can do it in constructive rest, but we are doing a chair practice today, so feel free to stay in your chair. Let's take a few sighs. So audible sighs help to activate the vagus nerve, helps us to come into a more relaxed state, a more present and aware state. And then notice where your feet touch the floor, where your bottom touches the seat. Notice the length of your spine. Soften your shoulders and your face. And just be aware of what you brought to your practice this morning. So notice any little messages that the physical body is trying to tell you. And it could be aches or pains, it could be a racing heart, it could be short, shallow breaths or nice, deep, full breaths. So all of these, it could be mind chatter, stories, narrative that you have going on today. And all of these are little messages from the nervous system. What's going on today for you? Some things, and in this moment, there's nothing we need to change. We're just being aware. But know that, some of these states, or all of these states, ebb and flow throughout the day. They change. Beautiful. And if your mind is quite active this morning, I invite you to just bring your awareness to your breath. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, bring your awareness to the soles of your feet on the floor. And we're not trying to change the breath here. We're just bringing awareness, and that alone can help to change the breath. If it's a little shallow, a little fast, if you're feeling a little bit anxious this morning, if you're kind of more into the sympathetic part of your nervous system this morning. Some people find it comforting to place their hands on their belly or on their chest. Some people don't. So do what feels right for you this morning. And just take a moment to be with your breath. And checking in and being with the breath creates a space for your practice, an internal space. We can prepare the external space by, maybe turning on the heater, lighting a candle, laying out your mat, whatever that is, putting on some music if you like music. But when we do this, we're preparing our internal state for practice. And don't expect yourself to be instantly calm. If we're in a little bit of a heightened state, the movement of the asana helps to soothe that, helps to move that energy through. That is what our practice is designed to do, to move the prana, to calm the prana, to get a nice free-flowing prana so that we're more prepared physically for pranayama. Okay. And then I invite you to stand in front of your chair at the end of your mat. I'm just going to bring my chair over. So remember, we're doing our little chair variation of sun salutations, of the sun salutation A, which has got dog in it. I need to see my little light to make sure that my microphone doesn't go off, but I don't want to make too much noise for you. There we are. All right, so standing in mountain pose at the top of your mat. Back a bit. There we are. Standing in mountain pose at the top of your mat. Feet are hip distance apart. Fingers are reaching for the floor, and we're pressing down into our feet and feeling that reaction from that pressing down, the lifting up, lengthening through the legs, through the spine, out through the crown. It's kind of a natural response from your body. And then again, come to your breath. And this time, just try and smooth, lengthen out the breath. Now, everybody's length is going to be different, yes. So if you're new to this, don't get caught up in what your breath is doing, okay? But know that it'll probably slow down as we go through the practice, as your mind becomes more aware of it and settles into the practice. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra at your heart space, thumbs pressing into the sternum, shoulder blades back and down. Take 3 nice breaths here. You might be taking 5 if your breath's a little shorter than mine. That's okay. Nice. And then on your next inhale, scoop your arms out and up. Look up if your neck's okay with that. And then fold it down really slowly. We're just going to do this first one a little faster than what we're going to finish with, to be honest. So folding down, maybe the head touches the chair, maybe not. And then press halfway up. So we're pressing into the chair, our arms are straightening, and we're lengthening through the crown, through the spine. And then we're going to exhale down. So just taking you through the first one. Just to remind you, bend the knees, step the right foot back, then the left into dog. Reaching long. Step the right foot in, then the left, halfway up, and then fold down. Bend the knees now, press all the way back up, arms come out and up. We reach up, we look up, and then we exhale and bring our hands down to the heart space. Okay, so that's the sequence. I'm going to tuck myself in a little. I need to take my jumper off. Excuse me for a second. Strange day today. All right, tuck myself in so I don't fall apart with my clothes. All right. So I'm going to take you through that little sequence that we just did, but we're going to slow it down even more. Okay? So taking a moment in mountain pose. Notice what you're feeling here. What does mountain pose feel like? And then inhale and reach the arms up, look up. Hang out here. Can you look to your thumbs? Do you need to look forward? Pressing down through your feet, reaching up through your fingers. Notice how your breath changes. One more inhale. Fold on the exhale. Maybe you bend your knees a little. Maybe your forehead comes to the chair. Maybe not, but the elbows are tucked in. What are you noticing in this forward fold? Okay, on the inhale, come halfway up, straighten your arms, lengthen out through your crown. Nice long spine. Your belly's in toward your spine. Just be there with your breath and notice. On your next exhale, step the right foot back, then the left, and reach your bottom back. Ears come down toward or between the arms, no lower. Your feet are hip distance apart and your sit bones are reaching. Maybe your knees are bent slightly. We're opening out, externally rotating the upper arms, internally rotating the inner thigh. Notice what you notice. Soften what you can. What you don't need to be activated in this pose, soften everything else. Beautiful. On the next inhale, step the right foot, then the left, and come to halfway. Again, nice long spine, reaching through the crown. So we're not looking forward and crunching the back of the neck. Such a simple looking pose, but what are you noticing? Next, exhale, fold down. Again, staying for a few breaths. You might be noticing maybe your legs are a little straighter already. Maybe you've got a little bit more movement in the spine. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to inhale, bend the knees, push your way all the way up. Arms come to the ceiling. We look at our thumbs if our neck allows. And we press into the feet, reaching through the fingers. What are you noticing here? On the next exhale, bring your hands down to your heart space. Samastitihi. And be here. How does your body feel? Your breath? What about your mind state, your running commentary? Does that change somehow? And we're going to do that again. This time we're going to stay for 3 breaths. So when you're ready, take an inhale and an exhale to prepare. And then inhale the arms up. Exhale 1. Exhale 2. Exhale 3. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Exhale. 3. 2. 1. Inhale, halfway up. Nice long spine. Exhale 1. 2. 3. Take an inhale to prepare. Left foot back this time, exhale into dog. 3 breaths. We come back in with the inhale and we step with the left foot first, halfway up. Inhale, exhale, fold. Three breaths. Come up on the next inhale. Hold that for 3 breaths. Exhale the hands to the heart space. close down the eyes if you're comfortable with that. Just feel in. I'm going to do one more round and I'm going to be quiet, but I'd like you, as we go through this last little sequence, to find that beautiful space between abhyasa, practice, the doing, the steady effort, and vairagya, so the letting go. Okay, easing in, allowing in your own time, just taking yourself through, and then we'll all finish in mountain pose before we sit back down. Away you go. Finishing with your hands at your heart space. Then mountain pose back to where we started. Noticing whatever it is that you notice. And then I invite you to sit yourself back down. I'm going to bring my chair over. And if you're comfortable with your eyes closed, I invite you to close your eyes. A nice long spine. Just take this first little moment as a little bit of a savasana. Have a little bit of a savasana attitude to it. So relax, but not collapsing. Just letting go of the practice that you've just done. Just letting yourself settle into this new position. And And then once you feel that settled feeling, come to your breath. Notice what you notice. Is it smoother? Maybe it's a little deeper, without efforting even. And settle into that beautiful rhythm of your breath. And next is the invitation to just sit with what is. And today's card is perfect for that. So we've cleared those waters. We've settled the turbulence and the muddied waters. And we can see things a little more clearly now. We can see things as they are. And as the mantra here says, from here to the horizon, my perception clears. That is what our asana practice does. That is what our pranayama meditation, our daily sadhana practice, that's what it does. So I invite you to hang out here in these clear waters and notice whatever it is that you see here. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed that very slow but mindful sun salutation. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks for practicing with me. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.